What's going on, guys? Aero here, and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, I want to talk to you guys more about Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. So just a few days ago was E3, and of course Nintendo had their big E3 conference where they showed off a lot of cool things, Breath of the Wild 2, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC with Banjo-Kazooie, lots of crazy stuff, but we also got to see Pokemon Sword and Shield gameplay for the very first time at the Nintendo Treehouse. And so during the Nintendo Treehouse at E3, we actually got to see Mr. Masuda as well as Mr. Omori on the stage to talk about Pokemon Sword and Shield, as well as play the game for a good 30 or so minutes. Now this live gameplay demo for Pokemon Sword and Shield focused a lot on the wild area, but we also got to see a max raid battle, and there was also some other gameplay aspects too. And so this was a fun demo to see gameplay of the 8th generation for the first time, but there's actually a lot of things that you probably missed inside of this gameplay demo if you didn't really pay attention to everything that came up on screen, as well as what Mr. Masuda and Mr. Omori were saying. But thankfully, you guys got me who's looked at that gameplay demo multiple times, and I've also paid attention to every single tweet that the Pokemon Company has posted, and so I've actually compiled a list of 20 things that you probably didn't know about Pokemon Sword and Shield from all of the information that we got at E3. And so there's a lot of secret details that I'm sure a lot of you guys didn't catch, and even if you know some of the things inside of this video, I guarantee you that there's going to be at least one thing that you're going to find from this video that you didn't think about for Pokemon Sword and Shield. So yeah, let's get started. Now the first thing that we have is that both types of wild encounters are going to be inside of these games. For the longest time, every single wild battle inside of Pokemon games has been a random encounter. There's always just been grass in every area, and you run through the grass and you find a random Pokemon. You don't know what it's going to be until you actually run into the battle. But Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee introduced something really cool for the very first time, which was being able to see wild Pokemon inside of the overworld and being able to run into them and then triggering a wild battle. Now thankfully, inside of Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, you're actually going to get the best of both worlds, as both types of encounters are going to be inside of these games. So Mr. Masuda did confirm that you're going to be able to see wild Pokemon in the overworld. As you can see right now in the gameplay footage, there's a lot of wild Pokemon you're going to be able to see in the world, but you're also going to see these exclamation points that are going to appear in the grass, and these are going to be Pokemon that you don't know, and you're actually going to have to run into them like in traditional Pokemon games and find out what it is. The next thing is that you're going to be able to sneak up to wild Pokemon that you find inside of the game. Now, if you remember in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, you were actually able to sneak up on wild Pokemon by tilting your joystick instead of pushing it, and so it looks like you're going to be able to do the same thing in Pokemon Sword and Shield, as there's even an animation for your character to start tiptoeing and sneaking up on wild Pokemon that you see in the overworld, so I would assume you're probably going to do it the same way by just tilting the joystick gently. The next thing is that the weather inside of the wild area is actually going to feature a dynamic weather system, and so this means every time you come to the wild area, there's a chance for you to find different weather than what you've seen before, and so sometimes it could be raining, sometimes it could be sunny, sometimes it could be snowing, and this will also impact what types of Pokemon you find, where you're going to see like more wild Pokemon that are water types if it's raining, and more ice types if it's snowing. Another cool thing about Sword and Shield is you're actually going to be able to whistle for Pokemon and attract them and lure them to you in order to get wild encounters. After a wild Pokemon was caught inside of the gameplay demo, we can see that the option to add them directly into your party right away is still there, and you're also going to be able to check the Pokemon stats as well as the stats of your party, so it's good that you're still going to have this feature where even if you catch a wild Pokemon and you want to use them right away, you're going to be able to do so. One of the cool things that Mr. Masuda pointed out about the wild area is that it's actually going to be fully explorable the moment you get right to it. So this means that you're going to be able to explore a lot of the wild area right away, and you're even going to be able to run into wild Pokemon that are going to be really powerful for what point you're at in the game. So you might run into like level 50 wild Pokemon inside of the wild area, even when your party is only like level 20 something, and so that way you know that this is a part of the wild area that you're not supposed to be at. It's kind of a good thing because you're not going to be blocked by a lot of things, and I really like that. It's kind of giving you like that Breath of the Wild sort of aspect where you can go in any area that you want. Something really cool about Pokemon Sword and Shield is that there's actually going to be a brand new weather condition called Thunderstorm. Now during this thunderstorm effect, it's actually going to be like electric terrain as well as rain at the same time, and so both the power of water type moves as well as electric type moves will go up. Now this next thing hasn't been officially confirmed, but according to someone who played Pokemon Sword and Shield at E3, it looks like one of the Nintendo representatives told them that in the final version of the game, you're going to be able to run from trainer battles. Now we don't know if this is actually going to happen or if this was just some misinformation that was spread. I mean, apparently it was told by a Nintendo representative, but I guess we're just going to have to wait and see once we get the final game. The next thing is that the classic bicycle item from almost every previous Pokemon game is going to be returning into Pokemon Sword and Shield, and you're even going to be able to ride this bicycle on top of water, and so it's going to be doing a lot of the things that your HMs used to do in previous Pokemon games. Now this next thing is actually one of the coolest things about Pokemon Sword and Shield at E3, and that's that there's actually two brand new Pokemon that have still yet to be officially revealed by the Pokemon Company. Now one of these Pokemon is called Yamper, and it's a Corgi Pokemon. It's a pure electric type, and it's actually got a really cool ability called Ball Fetch, where if you throw a Pokeball and a Pokemon pops out of it, that missed Pokeball will be fetched by this Pokemon, and you'll actually get it back in your bag. And there's also a second Pokemon that has yet to be officially shown, and that's called Impidimp, and I'm pretty sure it's a Dark and Fairy Pokemon, and that's actually the first Dark and Fairy type that we've ever had, and so it looks like a pretty interesting Pokemon too. And so yeah, these Pokemon still have yet to be shown officially in like a trailer or anything by Game Freak, but they were in the demo for Pokemon Sword and Shield at E3. The next thing that we have here is that the communication device for Pokemon Sword and Shield is actually going to be called the Y-Com, and this is going to be taking place of like the player search system or the PSS, as well as the Festival Plaza from the 7th generation. And this Y-Com device actually seems really cool. You're going to be able to see icons that appear on the side of your screen and ask people to trade and battle with you. It just seems really seamless and simple, and it's not like really convoluted like what we had with the Festival Plaza, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. Now during this gameplay demo, we actually got to see two interesting items for the first time. One of them was called a pungent root, and this was discovered by the trainer somewhere in the game, and then there was also another item that was handed to them by another trainer, and that was called a pack of potatoes, and they were placed into the ingredients compartment of the bag. Now we don't know what the effect of these items are, but if every bag comes with an ingredients compartment, then maybe you're going to be able to get different ingredients throughout your adventure, and then use those ingredients to craft food for your Pokemon, or food that gives effects or something, so I think that they might talk about this later. Now during the gameplay demo for the Max Raid battle, we learned that a Max Raid battle will end if all 4 Pokemon that you're using against it get knocked out, or it'll also end if your battle ends up being more than 10 turns. And so learning this does add another layer of complexity to Max Raid battles, as you pretty much have to make sure that you knock out the Pokemon within 10 turns, and you can't use a strategy where you're expecting to have like a really tanky setup and just stall for a really long time. Another important thing about Max Raid battles is that when you're doing a Max Raid battle with 4 people, only one person is going to be able to Dyna Max their Pokemon. And so this is important because you're going to have to work together with your friends to make sure that you take advantage of Dyna Maxing at the right time. And Mr. Masuda also said that if you're doing multiple raid battles with your friends, everybody will get a chance to Dyna Max. It's going to alternate each time, so it's going to be like I'll get to do one, and the next battle somebody else will. It's not like it's going to be luck based and somebody will just get lucky and keep being able to Dyna Max. Something that's also really helpful during a Max Raid battle is you're actually going to see an icon for every type of move that all of your teammates used, and so if somebody used like a status move, you're going to be able to see that. If somebody used a special move, a physical move, and you're going to get an idea of what all of your teammates did, even if you don't have direct communication with them. Something else that we also learned about Max Raid battles is that once the Pokemon gets to half health, it's actually going to put up a second health bar as like a barrier and get into a more aggressive state. And so during this aggressive state, you're going to have to take out the second health bar's health all the way before you can start taking down the health from the main health bar. Now this next thing is actually one of the more disappointing things that was found out about Pokemon Sword and Shield. So at E3 during the Nintendo Treehouse, Mr. Masuda stated that you're only going to be able to bring Pokemon from past Pokemon games into Pokemon Sword and Shield if they already appear in the Galar region Pokedex. And so this essentially means that there's no national dex inside of Pokemon Sword and Shield, and you're not going to be able to transfer any Pokemon that don't already appear inside of the region. Like if a trainer doesn't use this Pokemon, or if you can't find it in the wild, then you're not going to be allowed to bring it from your previous games. And so for example, let's use a Pokemon like Garchomp. If you can't find Gible or Gabite or Garchomp anywhere in the wild inside of Pokemon Sword and Shield, and if no other trainer uses it to get it registered in your Pokedex, then you're not allowed to bring Garchomp or Gabite or Gible from Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon, X and Y, Omega Ruby, or Alpha Sapphire into Pokemon Sword and Shield. And so this is definitely the bit of Pokemon news that has divided a lot of the internet. There's a lot of people that are upset from it, there's a lot of people that are angry about it, and then there's also people that are pretty chill about it and don't really care. Now I brought this up because it is news about Pokemon Sword and Shield, but I didn't give my thoughts about how I feel about it personally. I know a lot of other YouTubers made their videos on how they feel about no national dex and all of that. I just didn't know if you guys were curious to see how I feel about it. I mean, if you guys are curious and want to know my thoughts on the whole situation, you can definitely comment down below and I'll see if I get a lot of them and make a video on it. Or maybe one day we could just have like a stream where we talk about it. We'll see. Now from the people who got to play the Pokemon Sword and Shield gameplay demo at E3, we can actually see that of all the Pokemon that you were allowed to use during that demo, every single Pokemon's held item was an Everstone. Now Game Freak did this so that if a Pokemon leveled up during that gym battle, it wouldn't start evolving and potentially spoiling a new Pokemon. And so while it is really clever that they did that, the fact that every single Pokemon is holding an Everstone also confirms something really cool. And so every Pokemon in that gameplay demo was able to Dynamax, and every Pokemon was also holding an Everstone, so that basically confirms that Dynamaxing is not item based. And so unlike Mega Evolutions where you had to give a Mega Stone to your Pokemon so that it could Mega Evolve, or Z moves where you had to give the Z Crystal and have your Pokemon hold it so that it could use its Z move, it seems that Dynamaxing you're going to be able to do at any time and you're not going to have to give them an item. And speaking of Mega Evolutions and Z moves, Mr. Masuda also did confirm that Mega Evolutions and Z moves are both completely removed from Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now remember earlier in the video where I talked about that brand new Pokemon Yamper? It seems that we might even have an idea of what its evolution is going to be like. So in the very first trailer for Pokemon Sword and Shield, if we look really carefully in one of the spots, you can actually see that there's a little picture of a banner that somebody is holding of a brand new Pokemon, and at that time we didn't know about Yamper or any of those Pokemon, so a lot of people didn't know what it was, but if we take a look and zoom in closely, we can kind of do see that it does represent kind of a dog-like Pokemon, which is what Yamper is, and then we can also see that it also does have like a lightning bolt type of tail, and that's also what Yamper has, so it's probably an idea of what Yamper's evolution is going to be like. And finally, we have a pretty cool change to the UI where you're going to be able to see all of the held items on your Pokemon when you're looking at the party screen. And so there you go guys, those are 20 secrets that you probably missed about Pokemon Sword and Shield. If you guys enjoyed this video, then please be sure to click that like button and also comment down below and let me know what you guys think of all this. What do you guys think of all this information? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. If you're new to this channel, then please be sure to subscribe. I'm definitely going to have some more Pokemon content in the future, so please be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Click on that bell to become a part of the notification squad. Go follow me on Twitter at Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Xenoblade and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.